Yeah. Yeah.
Very
All
live.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Prime Talk. Prime Talks.
Awesome.
Again, we're back. Last Saturday we did the campfire with Matt, the main host for this program, for campfire and uh, Prime Talks every Wednesday. So we're back. Um, we're going to ask Matt some questions, and if those viewers out there, no, those who are going to you're going to watch with us live, you can also ask questions. If you have
Yep.
questions with Matt, hey for Matt, please do just comment below, and we're going to read all the questions, the questions you wanted to for Matt to answer, and then yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do it.
All
How are
right.
you, Matt? Good evening.
Good evening, Sir Gerald. Yeah, I'm doing great, much better now since getting COVID, and
Yeah,
my throat is still a bit there's still a bit dryness to it, but nothing. Some good tea, uh, it would help. And
yeah,
from there, I'm just excited for the night. Since knowing we're gonna do this, I've always had visions and thought about how exciting these things tend to be because we're going deep on things that make us make decisions and say yes to opportunities. And why? And we're gonna go into with you and me. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Joe, for asking me how I'm doing today.
yeah. Thank you, Matt. Anyway, let's go and get down to business.
Yeah.
And for tonight, syempre, for those
Yeah.
viewers who are new, maybe you need to introduce yourself first, and then tell us about your name and some your background, about yourself as an aspiring coach or an aspiring teacher or
All right.
Kyoshi. Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
So thank you, Sir Joe, for asking that question because it's a delight to answer such questions. So yeah, first things first. My name is Matthew James Martin Yusay, but you guys watching, you can call me Matt Yusay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the aspiring to be a coach began when I met Chris Vincent, the CEO of Prime Off and the founder of the Prime Community, and the creator of Kyoshi 2.0 Teach to Transform. And
Oh,
I never really imagine myself as somebody who would be a coach, but prior to saying that, there was a time before I did become to a level of a coach, but I didn't really saw myself as one since I was engulfed in interest too in what I was doing. But
mm,
I and then my mentor primed me up to be a coach at that time, but I wasn't really that convinced yet because I'm still doing it for me. No sense of doing it for others to that level yet, but years later now, I have never stopped being interested in these things. And since meeting Chris and his teachings really encouraged me. He doesn't necessarily say, "Hey, I want you to be like a coach," but the
yeah,
way he teaches excites me to be one. And throughout the right decisions I made in my life, I think I find myself more suitable now into the appropriate level of calling myself such a thing as a coach. Um, that sounds it has a better ring to it now. So yes,
mm-hmm.
thank you, Gerald.
Yeah. So, um, you started this thing for since what age? At what age, Matt? When you
Yeah,
started the coaching? You started 2 years ago, or
yeah.
how many years?
The coaching thing
Yeah.
started to be more evident for me around maybe it started to I started to build the confidence around it around 3 years ago. But
Okay.
this year, like before the end of last year, and we're coming to this new year, around
Mm-hmm.
that birth of this year, I started to see visions or because I go to the classes we do. And I get, you know, gigs. I get opportunities to speak somewhere, or to be of some resource to people in meetings that we do. So it's become evident to me that the substance that I've been interested in, you know, for so long, has been the agent that I've now been more interested in trying to teach it. But the way I teach it, you know, all of these things I know, it goes through my senses, my understanding of them, and then
Mm.
it gets filtered, and the way I execute on them in the world is what I
Okay.
teach to other people. So yes, thank you, Sir Joel, for asking.
Uh, yeah. So of course, no. Being a coach or being a teacher, Kyoshi.
Mm,
You have specifics like if I'm going to ask you who is your target audience, no? And who do you want to be? Who do you want? What type of marketer do you want to tap? Just
yes.
to connect with these people.
Yes. So thank you, because I have a very specific answer for that. Like, who am I trying to target in this world? Well,
Yeah.
the way I would answer that question is I would look first at myself. Like, why did I become so interested in these things? Why has it, you know, been fascinating for me, and I've never lost enthusiasm for 5 years now. So,
Mm,
firstly, so I look to myself. So I would categorize a good target for me for trying for them to give them something of substance of mine. I would say somebody who is just growing up, or goes through these things I'm about to say right now. Like they feel
mm,
that, you know, they would rather follow their intuition more, their heart, whatever they want to call it. They want to do the right thing, and the right thing is, you know, covered in your moral compass, everyday decision making. It's the
yeah.
intuition that tells us. So I want people that want to listen to that more, the right thing, because it has become evident to them that their current mistake decisions, the mistakes they made, they're well aware that where it came from when making such a decision. So they want to do the right thing now, moving forward, and I'm just there now. So I can surely say I'm there now, ready to provide content, data, relevant data that speaks to the desire of trying to do the right thing, helping the moral compass get louder, the heart get bigger. Kasi it can really happen. It can make a great person out of you. Kasi it's a challenge to do, but once you can shed some light on the subject that to some levels or degree it was achieved, then I'm a very happy man. And obviously, in my world, the effects that
Mm,
I have left in my work regarding that way of executing, or regarding that way of execution, it speaks to the intent I set out. So yeah. Yes. So I just want
yeah.
to say, it's a comment here. This Riza, magandang gabi. Hi, yes, magandang gabi. It's a beautiful night. It's a beautiful Wednesday for, you know, this conversation I'm having with Sir Gerald. And yeah, I'm having a
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah. Good evening,
Thank you, Sir
Riza.
Gerald.
Gandang gabi. And we like your picture, by the way. She's
Yeah,
so,
she looks very
yeah,
beautiful in that
she looks
photos. Yeah.
very, yeah, beautiful and happy. And so,
Happy is a nice word to say about it.
yeah, so, with those target audience, what I got it that from what I got from your answer is, if I'm going to be, to be more specific, you like to tap those people who are looking for self development or
Yeah.
self growth, right? So
Yes.
it's more or less it's like in general those people who are
Yeah.
like your siguro your age bracket, right? So
Mm.
that's how I yeah. So for those
Yes.
people who wanted to engage and become a Kyoshi like Matt,
Yeah.
you can message us and yeah,
Let us help
so
them.
go. Yeah. So
Appreciate
so
that.
before the Kyoshi, right? So there's a Kyoshi 1.0 and then it Kyoshi 2.0 came.
Right.
Our Teach to Transform program was what was your process of teaching or coaching people?
Yeah. So prior to the program Kyoshi 2.0 Teach You Transform, I was unknowingly coaching in a sense na before. So I was just interested in these things, deeply, deeply rooted in fascination talaga. So what I do is I just talk about it every day with people I met and knew, back in the day I was into selling stuff. So
Mm.
my goals were like making like 10K a week, which I did. Um, but the process, what shook and surprised my mentor before was how was I able to do it. So I now have a better answer for that because I'm being asked about it right now. So um, I used to just talk from passion, coming from a place that, like, why did I say yes to this opportunity to be a salesman back then? But I would
Mm.
honestly, call myself a marketer because I like to talk about, the brand, what it made me feel. So what made sense to other people to say yes to me was how I felt about what I was doing. So there was a mix of like, you know moral compass conversations around it. So that was mostly what I talked about, which was, enticing to the, listener. And what they heard from me was mostly like, um, if I were to say it, like tales of, like, let's go back to old times, right? Like, people were impressed by the knight who can slay a dragon, and stories were told about it. So I was impressed by those stories. So enthusiastically enough, I came from enthusiasm, talking about it like I want to share in that experience. And this was, in the current meta of time right now, that was my only way to express, since there's what's that word? The word there's a deficiency in dragons currently in our lives, in our current time. So I think the
Mm.
best way to attribute the dragon is our own deficiencies in character. So that's where I attacked most of my clients before, speaking from um, just, visual representations in the mind, very imaginative stuff that piqued their imagination and got them interested in what I was interested in. So they said yes to that part, and and I didn't, do much of good in. I, I didn't sell, products. I sold like packages and stuff. So yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
they were interested in that. So yeah,
Yeah.
Miss Riza,
So
I just want to read this. Miss Riza said, hashtag slay my inner dragon. So yeah, so that is so true, Miss Riza, because there's, uh, to our surprise, a lack of dragons currently in our time. So I think our characters hold some challenges there. So I think we should slay those. So yeah,
yeah.
I think it's so much a job. Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question, Matt.
Mm.
Um, so the question is for the viewers. No? How many of you have experienced what Matt has experienced? Have
Yeah.
experienced? No? Not, I think, not even not knowing that you're already teaching.
Mm.
Parang experiencing that moment that hey, I think this is part of me. This is something normal that I don't know though how I did it, and then
Yeah.
it's gonna just happen like with math. So if you have experienced this type of this feeling, just type me or message us. No, maybe
Yeah.
we could talk about it and yun, and develop
Yeah.
something out. Yeah. So becoming a Kyoshi, or a teacher is something that is you can maybe you can be more like take it like the responsibility of teaching and transforming by teaching. So with that, I think we have challenges arising coming from your experience. What are the specific challenges you faced when you try to speak or change and you try to teach? No? Yung, yeah. So,
Yeah,
do you have any challenges at the time that you know those experiences that happened to you before?
yeah. So the challenges, rise when I'm interested in this new thing that I'm learning. So now, the challenges look like just very internal, thoughts around. It could be coming from my own doubts, or the
Mm,
challenges can come from my own what lack of understanding of what happens next in what I'm trying to do. So sometimes I go into like different aspects of myself. So I check the doubt department, which I rarely listen to. What is it saying to
mm,
me? Like so there's nothing going on there because I never really saw uh, me being challenged by a doubt because a doubt yields to under my comprehended mind about things. So if I could understand something and know where to go and come from when trying to solve it, so it's mostly around my belief system and what I believe can happen. So I go into detail about that, like how does it really, how is it gonna really play out in my life with what I'm trying to do here.
I get it.
So
So,
yes,
just in context, right? So, speaking about the challenges you faced before, I think the thing that you wanted people to understand is that at times we are the challenge, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we are
yeah,
the challenge.
we get challenged and then not knowing sometimes maybe I am the challenge or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah.
so
The real challenge is
and you
us.
or
So
us.
yeah,
Yeah,
me, like
yeah, it's like
So I just want to read this comment from Miss Riza. My contest na pagsend ng heart reactions. That's awesome. Ang daming
uh,
po. Wow, thank you so much.
there.
Um,
Yeah, I hope how I wish I can see those hearts.
me too.
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah,
imagine floating hearts right now in the screen. So yeah,
yeah. I think
I wish
that those
I
hearts
wish they
are.
would integrate that.
I think those hearts are for you, Matt.
Oh, thank you. So I love it. Thank you for the love. I
Maybe a
wish
lot of
they.
people are sending you hearts right now
Oh man,
today.
I feel
Yeah,
really loved then. Yeah.
yeah. A lot of
How
people
okay?
loves you.
Let's have another comment here from Cham Lopez. Hi Cham, how are you?
Yeah, hi
So
Cham.
long
Good
time no
evening.
see. Hearing from you. Yeah. So I am my own dragon and an emoji. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so slay the dragon.
Yes. The dragons are in us all.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have them, tangible now in our life, like in the old stories. But sure enough,
Mm.
we can find them inside us. So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about those dragons,
Yeah,
heart
I just
attack.
want to read one more. Yeah, from Miss Tati Castro. So heart attack from Tati Riza. Wow,
Oh,
like we are
so
bombarded
we
tonight,
have
Joe.
yeah, we
Hearts,
have a lots of girls
love.
tonight.
Yeah, yeah,
We have a lot. We
yeah,
have lots of viewers. Yeah.
yeah. Love
Um,
that. Thank you so much,
speaking about those the dragons that you have inside you. No, thing is the next question that I have for you is what was the worst part about teaching or coaching before you started this Kyoshi 2.0 teach to
Yeah,
transform.
that's a good question. So the worst part about teaching back then was I wasn't sure if people were listening because I was sure
Mm.
enough deeply
Yeah.
interested in what I was talking about. So the
Yeah.
people were like, I imagine a young woman because I was talking to this young woman. I was in a party because my mom and her mom knew each other, and I was there, and I was deeply interested in these things. All you can hear from me is that of my interest, what I talked about. So I
Mm.
went on like a talk with this the daughter of my tita. So that lasted like for an hour or two, I guess, or more. And it was like I don't know. because I was just so on fire with what I wanted to learn more, I love to learn more about. And all I could see from her face was like there were times that she was deeply like interested and deeply understood what where I was coming from in moments. So that was really fascinating and nice to watch that she could, tap into what I was trying to say. And my enthusiasm just shined. So uh some said that, oh, she I don't know, I think she was lost with what you were telling, Matt. But after like a day or two, some people said she was lost. Well, I was talking for an hour or two, but the next day or two, she chats me and says, that was really fascinating, and we went into like an interview more in like a Facebook Messenger call, and just talked about the same stuff, and I think she was now a believer. So I think my just my curious energy about my own interest have uh, touched the other. So the transfer of energy happened. So yeah, thank you for that.
Mm, yeah. We also have those types of sometimes those challenges in our lives. Every time we go live, we don't know somebody out if somebody's listening or am I
Yeah.
alone or something. So yeah,
Oh
maybe
no.
that part is something that something we experienced like for Kyoshis, no. Pero in search for solution, when you had this feeling of becoming a Kyoshi, no, what led you to look for a better way to teach or to coach someone out there?
Hmm.
And how long have you been looking for a solution before you found the Kyoshi 2.0?
Hmm. So firstly,
Daming
dummy
energy.
energy play, yes. uh, I jam a little bit. I still have more energy to give. I'm because since getting sick, I'm just been excited about doing this thing. So yeah. So yeah, I'm deeply very interested in the conversation. So yeah, so how long was I searching? Um, been thinking about that. I
Like
think.
you had this type of moment. I think I need to find another way to make it
Mm,
to make myself better or to make my craft or teaching about teaching and coaching better. Yeah.
mm.
So what led you to look for that path?
So I'd like to say I'm naturally drifting towards that.
Oh.
So I'm always like prepared to learn something that I know is of the same substance initially what started for me 5 years ago. So I I'm just deeply ready, and
Yeah.
whenever, sure enough, whenever I hear something from somebody smarter than me, or who's really good at something that they do, and it has a resemblance of the interest I had 5 years ago, and now hasn't burned out, it just keeps going and coming in the growing interest department. Okay. So I've always made a move in something that I know will advance me in me, you know,
Hmm.
because I, I find it that it has become evident that those things that carry that kind of feeling that I'm interested in, you know, effort. This is so weird because effortlessly I'm moving in my career in something, and I I don't feel challenged because I think this is something I do every day. I constantly learn, so I think um, I'm not lacking substance in a day that can progress me or keep me away from fear and doubt. So yeah, I think I'm always ready for something new, and be it
Hmm.
a person, a program, an opportunity, if it has the same resemblance of feeling that this would advance me, if I partook in its wonders, if I just said yes to the opportunity, and uh, I'm sure enough I would learn a lot from the experience. So um, if I feel like it, like it's this is one of those things, I'll say yes. So yeah,
Yeah,
I just want to say good
that's
evening, Miss MJ. Yeah,
Hi, good evening, Miss MJ.
nice to see you.
Thank you
So
for
yeah,
thank you for watching. And
all right.
yeah, so moving on. No?
Yeah,
Becoming a Kyoshi at times. Yeah, what you mentioned a while ago that it took you a while, maybe to look for that solution or to become better. No, I guess we everybody or some of us went through that. Pero and the next question that I have for you is, why did you decide to try the Kyoshi 2.0 Teach to Transform
excellent.
program?
Excellent. Well, so firstly, since meeting Chris Vincent again, the founder of Prime Off and in the Prime community, um, he glimmered with meaning that when he was sharing the opportunity of being, a member of the class of Kyoshi 2.0 Teach to Transform. So
Mm-hmm.
what made me say yes is like the last question. It had the resemblance of feelings that this is something in my life that I should have and learn more a lot around because the teachings greatly revolve around self understanding, self development. And I knew I had to develop myself first in areas that I'm interested in, which is communication
Mm-hmm.
and just the arts of how to make things effortlessly in my mind when I try to think of if I want to sell something and how I'm gonna do it. Um, it makes me sharper as an individual with interacting with other human beings, trying to persuade them into something meaningful they'd like to have a part of their life. So um, the way I would say that, I what this all means for me, why I said yes, is just because to be more smoother and effortlessly being me, and with all the opportunities I have in my life right now, that I know if I'm just good at being me, and I understand myself well enough, that and my intentions are straight and good and right, and moral compass wise, then if I can entertain those to the highest degree I could take them on, as an intention to do it, then I'm doing my best. And that's what Kyoshi 2.0 Teach to Transform has done for me. So yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Matt, for answering that question.
yeah.
A lot of us are learning from your experiences
Thank
for
you,
the past
Gerald.
years.
Thanks.
Yeah, and even though I wanted to ask you how what got you off the fence, I think you already answered the question that I'm the next
Yeah,
question that I have for you. No, so moving along. So I believe the Kyoshi 2.0 has a lot of programs for mainly for not just for a specific. No, we have a lot. I think we have a lot of programs that can
we
people
do.
can
Yeah.
relate. So giving the solution and providing the solution for those people. And I think how did our program help you as a Kyoshi? How did this program help you when it comes with teaching and coaching?
So, you know, again, I would go back to thanking Chris Vincent because I never really imagined myself teaching, but now I have a lot of plans. Like I want to make this focus group around people that I've talked to and they're interested in the work of the mind
Mm-hmm.
and how to see things differently can greatly affect how you behave towards those things in your life. So um, I'm I'm just glad I get to say this right now that if my intentions for making a focus group for people, I'm so confident in saying that most of the things I'll be sharing there is things that make people change the way they see in the simplest things, such as the common problems or dilemma of, human life. Like it's quite very, familiar. Like if we just sit down and have a conversation about that, like what challenges have we faced in life, and more or less all of us can empathize about that. And if we have a very remarkable person in the room who's done great for himself or herself, then that's worth listening to. And I would say and assume to, to the greatest degree of certainty, it, the change that this person is trying to give us is mostly revolving around how to see things more uh, differently good.
Mm.
So yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Sir, for answering, for helping me answer that. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, for those people who are watching, just if you have questions for Matt, throw it in or ask Matt directly.
Yeah.
Going so something
Throw it
that's
in the
something
comment section.
something new. No, we don't want. Syempre, if you have you wanted to know Matt more about Matt, diba? Just ask him if he's single or whatever. and, and
I
just
mean,
joking.
that could be a good question too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they need to ask that. No, I don't need to
Yeah.
ask that
If that
question. But
fascinates you as the viewer, go ahead. I would be more
yeah,
happy
something.
to
Yeah,
answer that.
people might be more interested in with math, right? Rather than my
Miss Rita here
questions.
shares in that humor. It's very, very funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So kidding aside, though, was
Yeah.
it you who you was it you you or the who used the program, or was it a team member when you first
Mhm.
joined the Kyoshi?
I did it mostly for me because
Okay.
it was basically most on my self interest again around myself and how I want to be effective in the world, and more efficient. So I knew that being more in tune with honesty, and I want to use honesty as the base in whatever I'm trying to build in life. So I
Mm,
try to move in life as honestly as I can. That's it.
yeah. Thank you, Matt.
What
I mean,
this reason said here. What is
what
Matt's
is?
skincare routine? So
Yeah, we
for
love
me,
those questions.
I would constitute great skin with great thoughts. So you gotta have, in my opinion, you gotta think good. So because it just
Mm.
makes you feel good, and just in my opinion. But obviously you need some special soap or whatever. So I just I do that. But mostly I'd like to contribute my youth and smoothness in all aspects of me into my thoughts. So I've noticed that actually before. So yeah, if you feel good,
Yeah,
then your body, your cells help you get in all aspects of that to look good, feel good. So yeah, but
yeah,
it doesn't. But it helps if you use some special products or something. So yeah. Boo. I mean, yeah.
so
That's
for
what I would say.
those, yeah. So thank you, Riza, for that question. So if you have more questions like those types of questions, just throw it in and let Matt answer those questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
actually would
now
love
that
it.
you know the skin regimen of Matt, maybe let's try the next question will be
Damn, dude,
after
you know
joining
it.
after joining the Kyoshi 2.0 Teach to Transform program,
Hmm.
did it make you and or did it save you money when
Oh
you
yeah.
joined the program, or can you tell us more about it?
Oh yeah. So it definitely saved me money. Ever since I knew this was a growing thing about me, the greatest satisfactions I get are just comprehension, understanding things. Because I get to play more games in life that help me solve problems
Mm,
that gets me to get paid. So what is interesting is as I get more fluent and comprehensive about myself, I know that it doesn't necessarily mean I have to keep, keep make up a lifestyle that, supplements my visions, because I deeply and greatly think that as I get more wiser, I get more less materialistic in a sense. But I do want some luxurious things. So, but I know the reasons why I need to have them, because it's I mean, with the attempts I'm doing out here in the world, I think it's great that I'm doing great and stuff. And I tell myself nothing wrong with having just a few things that are really nice, like a
Of
really nice
course.
car, yeah. And I really like Jeeps, the Jeep Wrangler. So yeah, so mine
Mm,
that. And
yeah.
yeah, and but in other aspects, it definitely saves me money, because I only spend if it's like necessary, um, and it makes sense to spend on something. Like I don't spend on liquor. But when I do sometimes spend with I spend drinks when my friends come over, or a good friend of mine. So that's a constant thing, because I like to talk with him. So that's mostly where and just for family stuff. I like to buy food, a lot of food, or drinks. Just because the conversations matter more to me than the stuff. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
but it definitely saves me money, because um, I want the most important things in life when thinking about money and the exchange of it for value. Like, what's the most valuable thing that can add up to my how I see my character? So sometimes I just like to buy like
So
clothes,
yeah,
clothes.
yeah. Understanding your answers about, I think it's you're looking forward more to achieving your future, and
Yeah.
the value is long term,
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely long term. And
Yeah.
I spend on myself if it advances my visions for the future. So that's where you mostly find me spending stuff. So if it makes me feel like it's a good investment in that
Mm,
image I see in myself that is constantly being built in the present moment,
yeah.
then sure enough, I would spend some money there. Yeah.
Mm. In the long run, even if you spend, you know that it's going to come back,
Oh yeah.
yeah, hundred folds,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
not just that, parang yeah, you spend some money, but the value that you're giving with, not just for yourself, you're also giving it to, I think you're also giving it to somebody who needs that
Oh yeah.
that value, right? So how how cool is that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Higher
it
cause.
does, right?
A higher cause or a higher meaning
Yeah.
when I you know
And who
exchange my
knows, maybe that's the, yeah,
value.
that's the purpose of what you have decided to to
Oh yeah,
to
it
go in,
has to
right?
speak from that place, or else I'm just ruining myself. So it has to really feel like
Yeah.
this is good for me. Like in the alley of like health, wealth in the mind, because it's all in the mind. And like whatever I
Mm-hmm.
say, if it helps other people, then that adds value, and value carries so many gifts that it gives back to me. So I'm very careful with what I say when I'm trying to create something good, because that's my intention all the time. I want to serve the people, or a meaning or a cause that is much much above than me. Then
Yeah.
and I don't have to worry about getting paid appropriately, since I know the value I'm solving is
Yeah,
of
yeah.
high
It
value.
will, soon it will happen. There's
Yeah,
nothing's impossible.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Those are my times. Yeah.
So yeah. Especially we have the, the questions about the people wanted also to know, perhaps, is um what type of result, any results that you had did you get from Kyoshi 2.0
Mm.
after joining this type of program?
Mm.
Can you tell us more about
Oh
your
yeah.
results?
So one thing that came into my mind right away, Sir Gerald, is like I get messages from people that say it, not frequently, but sometimes they reach out, and I don't know these people, but we're friends on Facebook for some reason. That when I was younger, we've made that
Mm-hmm.
connection of friend requests. But since the content has been up there in this social media platform, what I usually get is like uh,
Yeah.
they want to ask some advice, or they're just thankful for the content or for who I am. And I think that adds value to me because if this work that I'm trying to do here, this pursuit, opens doors of opportunity for me, like like I'm more fluently understanding in the work of persuasion, or or sounding like removing myself from the equation of trying to get a procurement of something, because say the main reasons that I'm giving out to people makes more sense to them in investing than me getting something out of it. Then I've done my part in translating, giving them people something that they want to support for their sake in their lives. So um, it's it's deeply about understanding in every aspect, like because if people understand the value to the degree that what is being asked of them or from them, then
Mhm.
I don't have to say, like it's like that expression, right? Like, hey, you can stop digging na kasi you already struck gold or oil. So I'm not gonna say
Mm.
anything more, as I know where I should stop talking when I know they already want to do this for these reasons. So
Yeah,
um,
it's like
I'll,
what you
I'll
mean
stop
is
digging that.
the the value that you got is priceless.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
believe so. See,
that's great to hear. Yeah,
if you see that that's valuable for you, then I you can
yeah.
we can all consider that it's priceless. No? Nobody can buy that from you or
Oh
get
yeah,
that from you.
that carries a lot of good in it, in
Mm-mm.
procuring or aiding something like that you see like that. So I'm just trying to be the guy that helps people see that clearly. Like I don't want to be a part of that, like in the equation, because I know if the intention is to get something, then I don't want to be a part of the intention, because it's so intrinsically weird. Because
Yeah.
uh, I get paid before to share a message, so it's deeply rooted in like a very fantastic way at thinking of something, like but heroically, or something like,
There's
or
a difference, right?
it has some emotional benefits to it,
Yeah.
like you thinking of yourself much better, or a higher self, then
Hmm.
um, you become something important in the workplace. Then since hearing what came from me, then what you know now is like important there. So I'm just glad I get to be the agent that gets that done,
Yeah. So
for you.
after joining the Kyoshi, how long did it take you to get those results?
Oh,
People calling you, right? So
right away, like,
right away.
well, since the CEO of Prime, the founder of the company, Chris Vincent, uh, he always has this expression that I have a tug to challenge you, or excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
he likes to say things from the
You
heart.
need to drink water.
Excuse me, yeah. Let me drink some water. Let me drink some
I know
water.
it gets throat getting dry.
It does get dry. So yeah. So um, it things move quickly for me if
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot if I feel alignment in what I'm doing, and if I'm being challenged too. So, but the way they when I say they is Chris Vincent challenges me when during our classes is like I challenge you to make a program or I challenge you to make content out of something in this form of understanding with classes. It's always fascinating for me because I would rather do that in a heartbeat, like really right away.
Mm.
And say the fire is so hot, like I'm like after learning it and my attempts to do it, share it, firstly talk about it inside the community. First time Chris challenged me to make a program. I call it Thriving Winters. Um, at first I did it with inside the community. Honestly, Sir Gerald, I feel like out of 10, I did like maybe 5 or 4 or 6 or 7 maybe if I'm
Mm.
being kind to myself, like saying all the good stuff that possibly and did happen, open doors for me to change to much something better. So
Mm.
after that, you guys gave me feedback. Feedback really helped me a lot, um, because I had like a talk in the school after that. So after that, I made Thriving Winters 2.0. I think I spoke to like I don't know, like more or less 100 people.
Mm.
More maybe 100 people. I can't remember. I have a recording of the video, but anyway, I was scheduled for like an hour talk, which ended up at 2 hours because I made Q&A. Um, at first I could honestly see like they don't know about me, so what am I all about? But after like the first hour and then when I did Q&A, I think they understood what was I all about. So I was all about like personal development, self-development, and I know what struggles we go through, like regret, or the pain of regret, or lies being told, or
Excuse me.
I just go
Yeah.
back to the fundamentals of human self development and start to build a credible line of comprehension around ourselves there. So it's mostly my fundamentals are honesty and hard work and grit and willpower. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Matt, for
Mm.
answering that
Yeah.
question. And siyempre, a lot of times, people will search for those results at an instant. And sometimes people cannot
Yeah.
wait. They can't wait. They wait for, they quickly, give me the result. No? Yeah, so in doing this, no,
Yeah.
in your experience, when it comes to the result, what went well or better than expected during the process of using this program of the Kyoshi 2.0 program?
So what went well was, or more than expected was, I get to be more of myself that I like, moving in this world with so genuinely, like how I feel, like everything I say right now is like how I feel deeply, like or it's just effortlessly
Mm,
how I want to be portrayed as. So um, that's the best feeling of all, that
mm,
what went well was, sure, I got opportunities. I get to work here in Primup. I get to do things of substance that I believe in. I get other offers to do things and stuff. um, I love the conversations I'm having with people. I enjoy life more right now, and I
yeah.
think I think I'm doing right for myself here. And what went better than expected, that feeling of knowing I feel like I'm on the right path. so
Mm,
but the other aspects I'm still grateful for the opportunities to do something about it, and the main interest coming from people that want to procure that enlightenment I have is, I see the value in what I'm learning because they're interested in knowing what I'm all about. And what I'm all about is mostly self development. Like we probably you probably we probably, for people watching, has probably learned that some stories change their minds on some topics in life, so they do better or worse depending on what they know. So um, I'm deeply fascinated and interested in what are the informations that can make me better and
Yeah.
help me understand human development and other people. It's very fascinating. So yes, more
True.
than
True.
expected, deeply fascinated more.
Thank you, Matt. Sorry, my
No, you're fine, sir.
I'm the one who's getting. So yeah,
No, you're fine. You're fine.
um, moving along. Now, did you hit any roadblocks with Kyoshi 2.0, and how did you get past them? Those roadblocks.
Oh yeah. So the roadblocks are like, so when I was, when Chris taught me, I'm not gonna go into detail with the lesson, but I just want to say in general, like he taught me how to think better,
Mm,
how to like get or tap into that, genuine side of me and ask myself what I really truly want or need in life,
yeah.
and in all that levels of certainty. Um, I just want to say that learning that becomes something to be grateful for, and in regards to the program and whatever I get to be out of that is I see the connection between the real world and my interest in that being useful.
Mm,
So I've become more fluent in understanding that that's the place I should be working more on, and developing, building more adequate thoughts around on, um, and learning what to neglect in life through these efforts in educating myself has been the most effective too. I know now I have to neglect doubt when I want to do something that feels like how I started to do things in the right path. So I had
mm,
to understand that when a certain energy, let's call doubt, arises, it's a good sign that what you're about to do is good for you. But to distinguish what's good for you, what constitutes for what's good for you, is deeply, deeply rooted in experience. So there has to be many attempts in trying to understand or constitute what is a good risk and what
mm,
lessons or rewards that you're actually looking for inside after the risk. So there's multiple rewards
yeah.
after an endeavor. So I'm deeply, deeply, deeply interested in risk, in the right kind, if the ones that I've identified worth taking. And I'm very keen on identifying these gemstones of understanding and comprehension that adds up to my deep interest in being my deep interest in authenticity, coming off as a genuine person. Because again, my intention to do all that and understand all that is based on the foundation I understood a long time ago, which was that's a good sign of beginning to build something more credible in my life that I could rely on, which is honesty and genuine, being a genuine person, and whatever I attach as work there has to have all those aspects so that I
Yeah.
sound more credible and more reliable. I just and the main goal is to serve to the highest kind of good, what I
Mm,
know can do for other people. So um, it
oh,
the challenges are a lot stronger if you're on the right path, in my opinion, because it really tests you, the person who has this deep interest. Do you really uh, want to go through pain to
yeah.
grasp something that isn't fully formed yet in comprehension in the mind, but it's a good reach. It's a good attempt at reaching into something that carries a lot of understanding about ourselves. And I'll always go back to any attempt if it adds to me in my understanding of why it works. Um, if I find those reasons there in that risk, if it can add more to my comprehension, then surely enough, you'll find me tinkering there.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Water. Water.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
talking a lot really
Yeah.
gets you like feel it. Plus, yeah,
Yeah.
coming up
When
of
it
me.
gets when it dries up our throat, yeah, just a while ago I was already coughing
Mm.
because of so I tried to mute myself in a way.
Yeah,
So uh,
I knew that I needed water when I came in this interview, so
yeah, me too.
I
It's
drank a lot
already
of water.
it's the water's just beside me. So
Yeah, it's right
I
there.
need
Yeah,
just I need to drink as well. So
yeah,
even
yeah.
if I'm the one asking you questions, sometimes I really need to talk or give those viewers no, um, maybe ano, the more simpler perspective that I got from you.
Mm.
And I guess a lot of people are um, can also experience these things that you were mentioning a
Yeah,
while ago.
yeah.
And I just wanted to also to know or to understand when what would you say to an aspiring coach who gets stuck, who
Mm.
for example they felt stuck in the process. How do you what do you want to say to
Mm.
those
Yeah,
people who are
yeah. So
or
listen to
for those
people.
people who haven't started yet and then they felt na I think this is not it's not I can pull this off or nothing's
Mm.
going to happen even if I get to this program, right? So what do you how do you
Um, so all I have to say is like to people like that is like my advice would be, or my answer would be if they ask me what to do next is like for them for their
mm,
part like listen to people that make sense to you now, you know, and
yeah
you can find people like that in a book or in YouTube or around you if you're surrounded by interesting people, interesting loving people uh,
yeah
in your life, then sure enough, those are the places to start building something worthwhile for you, in my opinion. Because I like to have love, and I want to add to love, like saying, I knew back then what kind of love I should be bleeding out here in the world, what kind of love I should be bleeding.
mm,
So because it's painful to because I'm a fighter of this love, so I'm bleeding out something I know is the right kind of blood out here.
yeah
So distinguishing what kind of energy or sacrifice to choose is the best kind of comprehension. So
mm,
let's say it's not always going to be painful because say there's serendipity in knowing there's meaning in the painful way of dealing with life's challenges more enthusiastically.
yeah
It's it's how I deal with my life, and I've always cherished sharing about it because I think it's a very deep and meaningful thing to own as a comprehension of understanding. Um, it fills a person with meaning, such as myself. Um, I think that's where I mostly come from when talking or creating, because I believe it carries worthwhileness, if that's a word. Like
yeah
whatever I'm trying to do, I feel this is worthwhile. Like this is the best use of my time. And if I feel certain about that, then sure enough, I'm doing the best of what I should be doing in regards to my task or goals or objectives or job. Um, I think I'm speaking my truth that is right in this space of responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
and that assures me of the aspects of rewards that have been evident to me, worthwhile for my time too. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm compensated well in different aspects, so tangible and non-tangible. Like, and some and most times you'll find me being more praiseful of the non-tangible rewards that I get to have after an endeavor, which is um, understand the feeling of understanding something is
Yeah.
much, much rewarding because I think that's what I'm being paid for, or that's what I'm being rewarded for, or that's what I'm being called for to do. For
Mm-hmm.
my understanding of such things, then happily I'll do it. Um, happily really is a strong word for me and the appropriate one. Kasi I do things happily and ever after. Kasi uh, I like to, yeah, like I don't know. I just want to say that because I want to end everything I do with a lightheartedness and meaning. Like this is something worth pursuing too, because my writings or whatever I do aims to have the reader do something I want them to feel like me too, so that carries a lot of intrinsic or interesting ways of attempts that I get to do in my work. So and the ones that I figured out to be right, well, they stay with me, and I
Mm-hmm.
could, some things I'm good at repetitively, since doing it for so long, and sometimes something new, basta it feels right, will be the birth of another obsessive thing I will be trying to do always. So uh, I like to
Thank you.
carry, yeah,
You've um, gave us a lot of your thoughts and your
yeah.
value, the value itself
Thanks for
coming from
asking.
you. Uh, yeah. So we've talked a while ago that the program coming from Chris Vinson no, is a long term, right? So
Yeah,
in of course, if it's long term, there's a long effect, or the effect will be a long term as well.
yeah.
So talking about the man in the this Chris Vinson. Any thought, any final thoughts you'd like to share about Chris,
Mm.
about his vision or the
And
Kyoshi 2.0 Teach to Transform program?
yeah. Before I answer that, I just want to read some comments here. Hashtag happily ever after. Yeah. I think, in my opinion, Miss Riza, having these intentions of mine, if I think about them, leads my life to happily ever after, every day. Because
Mm,
I feel like I'm doing what's right, in my days, and in the past, days and years, since thinking about it like that. So, yeah. Um, Cham Lopez said, hashtag pay it forward. Yeah, I think, yeah, truly right. Cham Lopez,
mm,
like, the way I pay it forward is like, how can I do the most best out of everything I get to do, and transcend, yes, in my belief, if I done it right, to do it more right is to have people affected by how it's done, like making them feel more, uh, it's more than just something I've made to answer a simple or big problem. It's everlasting long term. Like it leaves a mark or some way that what I'm talking about is something more deeper than the problem being solved here. But the problem being solved was an exciting part of the solution process. So, but the main goal is to feel good about yourself in in incorporating what you know into solving a problem, and
yeah.
it feels good to solve a problem in a way that you believe is right and just. and with the moral compass being your north star in intention, being meaning like what's right and what's appropriate. Appropriate. I want to bring up appropriate because to the degree like exerting effort and energy uh, is a playful manner. I think that's very interesting in the process of creating. Writing that took me like an hour or two. But I had the feelings of all these interestingly beautiful attempts to be intention,
Yeah.
then carefully
So,
written. Yeah.
if
Go
I'm going to ask you this question, but if you're, I'm going to ask you describe Chris in one using one word only. What will be that word for Chris without explaining anything?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like
No, no,
there's
no, no, no,
all
don't
right.
explain. It's like you'll be able to understand it.
Mm,
Why interesting, right? So yeah,
yeah.
so um, I know there's another, I know there's more questions after this additional questions, but as for me, no, the
Yeah.
host for tonight,
Thank you, Gerald, for
the one
hosting.
that they said Matt cannot ask himself the questions, right? So I needed to be here to help him, to help
Yeah.
his program. Again, if I'm going to ask you engage your, if you're going, I'm going to ask you gauge yourself 1 to 10. Being a Kyoshi and before not being a Kyoshi, what's the difference of Matt before?
Mm,
Um, if he's not a Kyoshi, and who is Matt now after becoming a Kyoshi?
mm. So one thing I'm super grateful for is the people like you, such as yourself, Sir Gerald, and many more in the Kyoshi program that gave me feedback. Because whenever I attempted to create, you were there to give me feedback, and the feedback was I couldn't see all these feedback unless you were there. So the majority of the help that I get to do things right moving forward comes from people such as yourself who's interested in these works. You have different attempts in creating in the world, which is very niche for you. But in the Kyoshi program, 2.0 Teach Transform, we meet there. We talk there. We conduct meetings that help us solve or add value to people. Um, but said the feedback has been greatly appreciated from me. I always say that whenever I do things right or greatly to the extent of the intention,
Mm,
I always constitute everything right to the people around me, and I would name them. And because I don't mind spending time saying the right things that made it so right in the opportunity that was given to me, which if the feedback was greatly, and um, I'm proud to say the names that the people that support me. So you are one of them.
thank you, Matt.
Cham Lopez, Chris Vincent, Miss Riza, Miss Tati. The C sisters, Miss Jane, Miss Hazel, um, Royce T, Mr. Winchester, Sir Winchester. Many more. Even
Mm,
in Chris's company, the team leads, the people there have been really appreciative and supportive in all the aspects that we get to collaborate with, and that
yeah,
it's nice to see and feel all the effort and genuine energy. When I say genuine, it's like how they believe what is true and right and just is a pleasant sight for me because I share the same intent in providing the same quality they try to put out, and it makes sense if it does well. Then if when it does well, then we now have something figured out here of how we're gonna do this more rightly,
Yeah.
just with the moral compass. So yeah, but I'm just happy that Chris Vincent made this platform inside of a platform, Facebook, or Instagram, or Discord or whatever, where we find ourselves in is with interested people that like what they do, like how they do it, and want to learn more how to do it. Because it's so fulfilling, and at the same time, every time we do it right to the extent of what is right for you and me, excuse me, or whatever extent of good people try to aim at and
Mm.
deliver at on. I think that's when life becomes the most beautiful and worthwhile. Because I think that's playing life, pursuing life. That's how life is played. If it is full of meaning.
That's let's make it may I'll make it fun. It's a circle of life.
Yeah, and I'm glad we found this path that
Yeah.
leads to those places, and
Mm.
it's just an enlightening experience getting to know you and the others, because your attempts for what's good and right and just is refreshing and encouraging, and the courage that it takes to get to places like that is really amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Thank you. Anyway, do you have anything more to tell the
I,
viewers, or you want to? That's the
I
last question that I have for you.
well, I just read this comment. Miss Rita said, "From dragon to lion." Yeah. So
Yeah, that's the circle
I,
of life.
yeah, all I want to say is to the people watching: follow your heart, follow what feels right,
Mm.
even if what feels right is always a question, right? I dare you, for how many we're watching, to say what you feel is right. Ask what you feel is right. For the sole reason and purpose and reason that you just want to know what it means to you. And then when we pursue that, I think that's pursuing life,
Yeah,
creating what you want to hold dear near you, and continuously build a substantial life on. So yeah.
yeah.
Hey, this one comment here. Sir Martin Lex, my love.
Marty.
Yeah. Sir Martin Lex is the principal of the school here, St. Pius.
Oh, good
Yeah,
evening, Sir Martin Lex.
it's
Yeah.
where I talked to. He gave me an opportunity to talk to like hundred
Ah,
or
yeah.
people more or less. Yeah. So I shared Thriving Winters 2.0 there, so it's really nice.
Mm, I
Yeah.
see.
I'd like to say I did a great job there with the Thriving Winters 2.0, because the feedback I got from my first attempt was the reason why I could do well. So um, thankful again for the community, the Kyoshi 2.0 community program members, the Prime community itself, the people there. I have had a blast with talking to each. I'd like to say each one, because I've spent a substantial amount of time talking with the members
Mm,
and getting to know them. In all forms of getting to know them, it's really nice. And Chris Vincent, just great guy. So much to give, such a giving guy. There's no limit to an interested mind when you get close to Chris Vincent. Like there's always something to get and learn from, and I think that's the best kind of human experience to have with one another, is to learn something from another human being that has been effective to them in their lives, and that makes sense to this human being in this pursuit of life, and to this human being's like uh, take on life. So
yeah.
yeah. So that being said, thank you so much, Sir Gerald. Yeah,
Thank you very much, Matt, for giving me the it's a privilege for me to interview
me too.
and
Yeah, it's
ask
a
you these
privilege.
questions. and know
We're
more
talking.
about who Matt is. No, and for the viewers out there, thank you very much for supporting Prime Talks. Thank you for supporting Matt, Kyoshi, and Sir
We
Chris
support
Binson.
us.
Yeah. So we'll see you again next week, Wednesday for the Prime Talk, and Saturday for the
Yes, Miss Riza is up
Riza.
next. So
No,
yeah.
she's up. She's next. So
All
we're going
right.
to watch her next this
Yeah.
Saturday.
Awesome.
And
Excited about that. Yeah.
yeah,
So with that being
yeah,
said, Sir Gerald, shall we call it a night? Thank you so
yeah.
much,
Sige.
everybody, for watching,
Thank you very
and
much, everyone, and good night.
have a
God
great night.
bless.
Yeah. Enjoy Wednesday night. Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye.